You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you again for joining us. Some of you have been here since the beginning, and we want to send out a special thank you just to you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, you didn't mean us.
I didn't mean you. I meant our fantastic group of listeners from around the world who have been committing 10 years of their lives to listening to this show week after week, month after month, year after year, into our second decade of doing this show, D&D Brian.
Dang.
I know, right? And yet we're still all at level 26, Rodrigo.
Still?
I mean, if you consider that that's 6 more levels than most versions of D&D go.
Well, there you go. There's something to look forward to.
That's not that bad.
Right, Rob? We got, 4 more levels to go?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. My mother had marriages that haven't lasted as long as this campaign. So
yeah, way to bring the room down.
That's actually true. It's not meant to be depressing. That's in fact true, but still.
Anyway, hey, good news.
Mm-hmm. The gang's all back together.
Yeah.
And then some.
And then some. We've got some old friends. Well, for some people, friends, maybe. And we've got some new friends. Some crazy wizard dudes with some funny-looking hats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're all in a safe space together.
Safe-ish.
Well, we're still in the middle of a possessed island and have to fight our way to the middle of it to find an evil portal, which then your cucumber is going to eat.
Let's take the victories where we can get them.
That's true. I mean, we're not dead, which is what I thought we were at the end of the previous round.
I didn't figure we were dead, but I really thought that there was going to be a lot of skills challenges and battles, and I don't know what the heck that thing was that was chained to the middle of the room, but thank goodness we didn't have to fight it. Too bad we didn't free it. It probably would still try to kill us.
Try to kill somebody.
It was Alusha's summon.
Oh, was that what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the same thing he used back when we were fighting the salamander coil.
Ah, all right.
That's why I asked if that was a demon who was a friend of mine, but clearly not a friend.
No, he's upgraded it. This demon was bigger than the last one.
So this is a different demon.
Yeah, it's an epic level demon.
Different demons, same chain is what it was.
Yep.
I recognize the chain.
Well, then let's get on with this adventure and see what happens next, shall we?
All righty.
Yes. What happened last time?
On Critical Hit.
On Critical Hit.
Well,
There
we
was a
were
prison
all
break.
captured and we were able to break out of prison and get all of our stuff back.
There was a couple prison breaks.
Yeah. There was simultaneous prison
Also, clearly
breaks
it wasn't Mr. Freeze, but it was Captain Cold because, prison break plus also ice powers.
Nice one, Sam. Very good. Deep cut there for Flash fans. Hey, by the way, Matthew and I do a Flash podcast over at patreon.com/major spoilers. If you watch that CW show and want our thoughts on that, head over to patreon.com/major spoilers.
Or if you just want to hear my Wentworth Miller impersonation.
This season is very bad.
And we talk about it over at patreon.com/major spoilers. Yep.
Heck, why even watch the show? Just get your info from Matthew and Steven.
Yeah, that's probably more entertaining
than this season.
So that's true enough with some things.
Wow.
I have hopes for this season post-crisis.
Pretty much anything Matthew reviews for Why Do You Hate Me?
Yes, don't forget Matthew's Why Do You Hate Me?
Yeah. The worst comics in the world and one angry fat man. Who will come out alive? No one's entirely sure.
And since we're still talking to Patreon, don't forget character sheets. Want to find out
level 26.
Want to find out how Randus is built right now? Patreon.com/major spoilers. We now return you to a regularly scheduled game. Actually. So there, right. That's what happened last time, Rodrigo.
On Critical Hit.
Yes, Critical Hit is brought to you by the support of listeners like you.
And the letter E.
Yeah.
So number 20.
Yes.
So call it now.
Sakar and Seven Elves Wise had been captured, and then they were busted free by another contingent. Just as Little Sparkle, Dalin, and Randos were getting ready to bust them free, and now they find themselves in a warehouse with a bunch of, with at least one wizard and a bunch of other people wearing robes, as well as, Alushe, who is a Kenku, wearing some leather armor, and he's the same type of Kenku as a Little Sparkle, so he's more of an Ibis type Kenku than a Raven type Kenku. And Fangs for Foes, who is a Gnoll. And for those of you that are new here, what a Gnoll is a very large humanoid with the head of a hyena, covered in fur and, very scary and ferocious looking. So once you guys make it into the warehouse, everybody moves to a what appears to be some sort of cellar or storage type area. They open a big metal kind of hatch and start climbing down.
We will follow.
Yeah.
Okay. And then once you are all down there, they close the hatch behind you, and now you are all in some sort of tunnel. There is some amount of hay and or grain scattered around the tunnel, which you can see because Melaphon, who is the wizard that you guys ran into, has a sun rod, which he activates while you're down there, and he kind of leads. And nobody's running anymore. Everybody's just kind of like walking down this tunnel.
Okay, so we know Alushe. What about and Melaphon? We've met you.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you besides just resistance?
Well, we are the Magocracy.
The Magocracy?
The Magocracy.
Mages that used to. Did you previously rule here?
I mean, we were part of the ruling class. Knowledge is very important here. So obviously, mages would have a higher concentration of knowledge. So very frequently, we were in charge of things.
So, what happened? Did Theen just side with Asmodeus?
Well, we don't think so, because nobody's seen her.
I didn't see any damage to the city. Was she gone when he arrived, or?
Well, no. She allowed Asmodeus' troops to enter the city.
Why?
Well, she didn't want to fight, I guess.
So as not to damage any of the knowledge contained within.
That's what I thought, but...
That and presumably the people. There are really not a lot of soldiers in the Sage's Rectory, so we didn't have the ability to repel an invasion.
Okay.
I don't know if you've noticed, but we don't really have, walls and keeps.
Yes.
Fair.
Well, just so you know, we're here to take down that pillar. So the faster we can get to the pillar, the faster we can complete our mission and maybe get your city back to you.
Well, that sounds great. But we'll see how that works.
It's always a but.
What can you tell us about the situation here?
Well, So when Theen surrendered the city, the Asmodeans moved in, moved the majority of the population to specific areas in the city. Obviously, took away most of our means of fighting back, which mostly meant, holy symbols and wands and things like that. Books with spells in them, that kind of thing. And they pretty much control the center of the city and have a lot of, or the center of the island, and have enough of a presence in most of the docks that it's difficult for help to get in that end. At any given point, there are between 10 and 50 warships around. So it's it doesn't look great.
Yeah, that's rough.
And then on top of that, they have figured out a way to use, I don't know if you were aware of this, but Theen used strange mystical frequencies to communicate. And they've figured out a way of using those to cause harm. Essentially, there are places around these towers that they've put up. You'll see them eventually. And if you get too close, it kind of scrambles your brain.
That sounds unpleasant.
We knew they were using it to some degree, and that we've tried using sendings to reach other allies and have been unable to.
Oh yeah, we lost a couple of mages in the early days who try to send for help and just kind of never got the message out and never made it through the trance.
She'll look to Aluche and Fangs. How did you two get involved here?
We got hired.
No. Looks back. How did they hire you?
Well, we had been on the island before, and we'd met a couple of these kids. And we were, when we started seeing stuff was going down, we weren't too far away. So we thought, should we get away from this, or should we get back and see if either side needs mercenaries? And sure enough, these guys have some need and the coffers for it.
I'm glad to see you're okay and fighting on the same side as we are.
Yeah.
You didn't see us being brought in by chance, did you?
No.
We came with a ship and thing on the ship that we kind of need to at some point get back. So I didn't know if you might know where that dock might be.
Yeah, they probably have your ship at the nearest dock. I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Oh, it's a very unique Fey ship.
Okay.
Hopefully we won't be able to do anything with it.
Well, that'll be good if they can't. But I guess I wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, you guys will probably be able to get it back, yeah.
Okay.
There's Melaphon.
Well, pass it around. If you see a talking dog.
Talking dog?
Fox, dog, thing. It's...
Yeah, we had a dog on the ship from the Feywild. She's an odd one.
No, okay. I guess, yeah, we'll keep an eye out.
You'll know her as she goes like this.
Oh, okay.
I guess, did you have any other operations planned?
There's the big one, which we always have planned but haven't been able to execute, which is to figure out a way to shut down the towers up the hill and get into Theen's palace so we can figure out if we need to free her or she's dead or what.
And those are the towers that are weaponizing the frequency?
Yeah.
Well, if you have a plan for it, there's 5 more of us now.
Yeah, nods, and Aluche kind of grins and says, well, it's not really them who have a plan for it. And Malifon looks back and he's like, "It's our plan too," and he kind of waves the sun rod at him. We're all working together. And
what is the plan?
You guys arrive at where you're going, which involves you guys climbing up basically a ladder that is just kind of like rungs built into the wall. You climb up and very quickly can look around and see the following things. First off, there's a bunch more wizard-looking people in here. Altogether, you count about 30 robes. They are going about various business, but they all kind of stop to look at you guys when you do, or when you arrive. This is another type of warehouse, but very clearly some sort of grain type warehouse, as there is in fact some like just bags of grain around. Some of you, well, I don't know whom, potentially Sakar and maybe Seven Owls, given the upbringing, can recognize that this warehouse probably attaches to a grain elevator.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And when Malifon climbs out, he's like, "Success!" And everybody cheers. And the recovered wizards are taken to be treated and to get some rest. Yeah,
So-
boy, that went a lot better than expected. So now that you're looking around, all of these guys, the majority of them are human. There's a couple tieflings. Also, there's probably like a couple of them that are in their 30s, but pretty much everybody here is squarely in their 20s.
Okay.
What happened to your older members?
They gave up.
I'm very glad that you guys are still fighting.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's like mom and dad are like, "Oh, you got to just roll over," you know?
Yeah, I'm well acquainted with fighting with my parents. So are they still here and just in hiding, or trying to do the best they
No,
can?
they're in, I don't know what you'd call it. Like, they're living, but they're like, we're occupied. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Sure.
they're still doing stuff and going home and probably paying obscene amounts for like 4 ounces of brandy.
Sounds about like life under the coil. So tell us about this plan then. We would love to help make a difference.
Well, so the plan is that so the towers. Okay, so there's this thing that happens, and you guys see like a door that's pretty far away, like basically on the opposite side of where you guys came up. And the door opens, and another this time a lady wizard pokes her head out and looks right at Malifon and like motions for him to get in there. And he's like, "Oh, well, why don't I just show you?"
Okay.
And he leads you into that door. And like next to that door is basically another door that goes in, but it's like a giant set of like metal double doors that probably slide. So you guys walk through the like normal person door and find yourselves in a huge cylindrical structure, which, again, for the ones that I pointed out, it's like, yes, this is clearly the grain elevator. But instead of a bunch of grain, there is a big, shiny tower. Like, not the sort of tower that you can walk into and sleep in. It's like a radio tower, basically. And it's almost just shy of the whole length of the grain elevator, and there is a console over by it, and this lady, when she comes by, starts messing with the knobs, and you guys hear like a radio frequency, like wee, wee. He's like, this is what I'm talking about. Did you hear something come in? It's like, yeah. So she's like messing with it, and like, and you guys hear this like very mechanical voice. Excuse me. You hear this very mechanical voice go, attention, 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 incoming transmission. Attention, 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 incoming transmission from the voice. And there's another kind of like staticky sound, and says, there's a voice that is very distorted. It just sounds like very metallic, and like the lows are really cut, and the highs sound like really tinny and weird. But the voice says, "Hello, this is the voice, transmitting to all my little resistors. All towers are currently active, but tomorrow the following frequencies will be blocked at the following times." And you guys just see like Melaphon and this other wizard like dive for some like parchment and like a piece of like crayon, and they like, it cuts back to like the deep robotic voice and says like, Tower A1, like such and such a time. Tower B2, such and such a time. That kind of thing. And just they go through like 10 different towers at basically these time intervals, like from this time to this time, this one from this time to this time, and they're just like scribbling them down. And eventually, I guess the ones are like, and then there's just static for a while. And then they turn down the volume, and they just like completely ignore you guys as they're like pouring over these numbers.
What do you know if this information is accurate?
Hang on.
Okay.
And like Alusha like peeks his head in. Like, you guys hear the voice?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the voice, he makes like big quotes, is another aspect of this somehow not the weirdest mission I've ever been on.
What's the weirdest mission you've ever been on? The one with us or something else?
That one was pretty good. Probably the weirdest one wasn't even all that dangerous. There was one time where I had to like keep the coil from getting these eggs, and it involved a lot of costumes. That one was pretty weird. Anyway,
I have to hear more about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So, yes, the voice, it just transmits, and they write down, and usually the information, actually every time we've tested the information, it's correct. I've spent a fair amount of time making my way up and down that hill, and sure enough, the times are right, so I'm able to move in and out of a particular area without having my head blow up. When she says that they're going to start going again, they start going again. So far, that's mostly what happens when the voice comes on, but they don't know who it is. So that already makes things a little questionable. And I don't think, we don't know if it's the voice that shuts the towers down, or if it's something else that's happening, some sort of maintenance, or just like a bug in the system that shuts them down and the voice just knows. It's hard to tell anything about that voice. It's very distorted. It's hard to tell the gender, but everybody here calls the voice a she. And I think it's, and he like looks at the wizards and kind of, they're still like engrossed, and it's like, it's because a lot of them think that that's Theen, and she's like communicating with them. But I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter who it is up until it matters who it is.
Yeah. I mean, if the information's been good so far, that's certainly promising. But it could be some kind of very elaborate trap.
Long gone.
Do they when you have gone up there during those times, are there other people around too? Are there like patrols, guards?
Their guards either we haven't been able to ascertain exactly what it is. They either have some sort of ritual or implant, or it's not any sort of like magic item. It's not like their helmets, but they have something, because we've gotten a few of them. And it like prevents them from being hurt by the frequency. But we don't know what it is. And again, it's nothing they wear, because Fangs and I have caught our fair share of guards. So
would just be too easy.
Yeah, either they're present for some sort of ritual that changes their brains and prevents them from getting hurt, or there's maybe something in their bodies. But I mean, some of these guys are like surgeons and stuff, and they haven't found anything either. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but like all of these kids are like kids.
Yeah. Notice that. Yeah.
A lot of them have apparently access to some a fair amount of money. So, eventually, Fangs and I are going to be living pretty well off of this. You might want to get in on that if you don't want to work for free.
I mean, we could certainly use some more startup cash, but well, that's I mean, we're doing this. She like kind of gestures to Seven and Dallin, because these guys are basically on a sacred quest. But that doesn't mean that we can't also acquire some resources.
Is the pillar at the top of the hill?
The pillar is at the top of the hill. From what we can tell, it originates from Theen's palace. So
makes sense.
I don't know anything about these pillars. So I don't know if you need there to be a god to raise one of these pillars, or for there to not be a god to raise these pillars. These guys don't know either. They can only really... we haven't been able to get a critical mass of fireball launchers close enough to really have them study anything up close.
We never did see either of the gods at the last two pillars, did we?
No, in fact, Great Tiger was rather notably absent throughout Olverdon.
Yep.
That's not promising.
No.
Or is it? I mean,
they think it's a little optimistic for it to be Theen. I think it would be more likely, who knows, some other loyalists planted inside. I just assume that if they actually had Theen,
corpses,
that should be watched very closely.
What should be watched closely?
Theen, if she was, if she had surrendered and was in Asmodean custody, if she hadn't been killed, that she would be watched very closely.
Right. I mean, she's a goddess, though, so who knows?
True. She could be capable. This is her frequency. She could be capable of manipulating it in ways that they don't know or predict.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess, yeah. If it is Theen, right? It's just sit here and spin our wheels. If it is Theen, then she's not claiming to be Theen, because there's a possibility that the Asmodeans can hear this as well, right? Mm-hmm. Because if she thought that they couldn't, she would just say, "Hey, everybody, it's me, Theen. Come help me." I mean, I think I never met the lady.
Or she's worried about a spy.
Makes sense, though.
We can't trust it, but I think we'll have to take all due precautions anyways in terms of making this assault. But I think it's probably our best bet of getting through and finding out if Theen is there, or if there's anyone else that we can spring from the center, and it'll get us closer to the pillar, which every time we've managed to disable one of these has wreaked havoc on the local Asmodean forces.
Exactly.
Right.
Theen may actually be a secondary concern if we can get one of the gourds to the pillar.
Well, there you go. I don't know. This is all pretty weird stuff. It's all kind of brand new to me. So I'm I don't know. We just have what intelligence we've gathered from the ground. All of this, like, what happens when you put a god in this kind of box stuff? It just all seems like wild speculation, and these guys like to speculate.
Yeah.
I mean, I think honestly, I think most of these kids had never actually hurled a fireball before this all happened. I think they were all just like theorists.
Oh,
Most of them are probably still in school.
I mean, war makes a lot of theoretical things into practical things.
Yeah.
Magic is all about theory.
So anyway, you should just let them spin those numbers for a while, and we'll get you something to eat.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you can fill us up on what you've been up to the last few months.
Yep, sure. And you guys all get like basically a bowl of oatmeal, and he like kind of like when you guys all sit down, it's like him and Fang sit down with you guys, and he kind of like toasts with the oatmeal bowl. He's like, to grain.
To grain.
To grain.
To grain.
And just starts eating. Like, so let's see, what have we been up to? And like Fang's like shrugs. I was like, mostly we've been busting resistance members out when they get caught somewhere. Like, yeah, this one was a bad one because like 5 of them got caught trying to get at some books. He looks at Fangs and says, what have we been up to? And he's like, oh, well, been busting a lot of these guys out when they get caught. Like, yeah, there was a big one. Like 5 of like those 5 got caught just trying to get some books that presumably had some spells on them, but they didn't even get the books. They got caught. And usually we're able to get them back. We're able to like jump the actual guards that got them, but this time they were just too far away. We just couldn't get them until they got them to that little converted prison. Which is just as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a happy coincidence that we also got met with some resistance on the way in. I guess they knew who we were. Maybe they got reports of our ship being at other islands where we were assaulting the Asmodeans.
Yeah. So, I mean, that and scouting around up and down the hill, checking in on these kids' parents every once in a while. It's all in the contract, I guess.
Fair enough. You basically been working this contract since, like, for the last, I don't know, since the Asmodeus started taking islands.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't get back here until everything was already set. The pillar was up, the towers were up, and when we got back, we we just walked in through the front door and wanted to see if if Asmodeus's people wanted or were willing to pay. They weren't, because they had everything in hand. So then we went and we found these kids, and they were willing to pay. They've got actually a fair amount of money. So we joined the resistance.
All right. Well, lucky us that Asmodeus couldn't pay you, or wouldn't pay you.
Yeah, no, that would have been very annoying. Let's see what else. Yeah, so these kids, they got a lot of like vim, I guess, to them. They really want to kick this occupation, So they're not always making the best decisions. They're a little bit brash. So, and, we used to, like, him and Fangs, like, keep kind of, like, looking over at each other to, like, like, she nods a lot of the time. So, they're not really paying us to, like, strategize, but we've kind of had to because, if they all get caught, then there goes our paycheck. So a lot of the time they'll start making plans and we'll have to be like, well, actually, that's just going to get you all killed. Why don't you do it this way instead? Or why don't you let me go out and scout first? Or no, this is not a problem that can be fixed by everybody casting 14 cones of cold at the same time. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's useful in specific situations, but it's not a cure-all.
So it sounds like there's a lot of them making sure that they think that your ideas are their ideas.
Oh, definitely a lot of that. Especially because they all kind of see themselves as the smart. They all think they're the smartest kid in the room. So it's not hard.
Wizards.
Yeah. I mean, if they don't have their smarts, what do they have, right? Especially now, they don't even have their homes and their families.
Sure.
It's like all they have is their spells and whatever else they were studying, like, I don't know, architecture.
It seems like their heart's in the right place. I'm glad that you've kept them alive and mostly out of prison.
As much as I could. I mean, we have lost a few, but
sure.
So this whole situation is really strange. So the biggest thing that we have going for us is, or rather, here are some of the advantages we have. One, we have a huge amount of wizards, which means we actually have a huge amount of firepower. They all know the city pretty well. We've been able to scout it. Obviously, information from the voice always seems to be right. And this whole island is not in any way meant to be defended. Like, there's no place to make a barricade that's not one building. There's just no particularly good strategic position. So the Asmodeans have invested a lot of troop power into it, and they're barely covering it. So right now, that's an advantage. The flip side of that is if these guys ever do take over, I don't know how they'd be able to repel a second invasion. Right now it's working for us because we're not the ones in power, but if they get into power, I don't know what they're going to do. The flip side of not having any place that's barricadable means that we also can't do it. There's not a lot of good places to go to ground or a lot of good places to mount a or to like get to mount a proper assault, because you'll get spotted. Everything's just open and like gardens and quads and like small statues in the center of a fountain, so we're kind of dealing with the same thing. Obviously the towers are a problem, and even though it's not literal fire like these guys, like I said, when the Asmodeans can muster, they have an immense amount of troops here. So it's our biggest advantage right now is that we haven't actually made that big of a stir. They haven't really dedicated themselves to rooting us out because we're such a small group, and honestly, we haven't accomplished that much. But those two in there have been working pretty hard, and they think that at some point the voice is going to give us a big break, and that we'll be able to essentially leverage to let them take over the palace. And then once they're in the palace, we'll actually have probably the only place that is actually defensible in the island.
Okay.
And of course, if you ask any 2 or 3 of them, they all say that, Theen's obviously been captured, and once they free her, she can, use her godly powers to help them. But she didn't do that the first time around, so but don't tell them that because they get mad.
Yeah. I understand. You don't want to, like you say, they don't have much. They've got a bunch of hope in their goddess.
Yeah.
Logic and faith tend to be somewhat asymmetrical.
Yeah, I wouldn't rely on us being able to spring Theen, but like I said, removing the pillars seems to have strange effects on the area. The last time we did it, it managed to release a bunch of goo that killed all these ghosts that were keeping an island under control. So who knows what this one will do.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Does it?
No, that was sarcasm. But,
okay.
I mean, I believe you. It's like I said, this stuff's pretty weird.
Yeah.
And it's not the sort of weird that I'm used to.
Yeah, or I'm used to.
Yeah. So one aspect that is the sort of weird that I am used to are all these towers, because they're mostly mechanical. Yeah. So that has made things a little bit easier. It's like, they at least didn't have to explain like frequencies and stuff like that to me. Yeah. Like presumably somebody from some other place would have. I mean, I don't know that Fangs really gets it, and she just kind of like shrugs and keeps slapping her oatmeal. But she doesn't need to get it. So there's that. So we'll see what this latest set of numbers do and how excited they get. For now, there's plenty of empty cots in here, so if you all want to get some rest, now's probably the time to do it.
Yeah, that seems smart.
Yes.
Seems wise.
I think I'm still healing, right? I'm not completely...
No, Randus got you.
Oh, that's right.
Got you all the way there. I mean, it probably still hurts, but you're fully at your full stats.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how tired you are, Randus, but I would bet if they're willing to have you, your number crunching and mechanical expertise would be a great boon.
Yeah, I'd definitely be willing to see what help I could provide.
Well, if you could... If he points back at the room that you guys came from, if you can penetrate the cloud of numbers, by all means, get in there.
Yeah, if they'll let me offer input, I'll see what I can do, and I'll kind of head that way.
Okay. Yeah. So the rest of you, you are shown to some cots, and are able to put your bags down at the foot of them and lay down if you want. It's all pretty close, and this is all one giant room, so it's never really quiet. But especially for Seven Owls and Sakar, it's probably not that difficult for you to actually fall asleep. You're definitely both pretty tired, and the rest of you are tired as well.
Okay. All right.
Get some rest.
Yeah, I think we'll get some rest, and how about we just go ahead and take a break right there this week in the action, and everybody can get some rest. I know some of you stay up late, so you can get this episode as it arrives, hot off your podcast feed.
Your magical presses, if you will.
Yes, your magical presses. But yeah, go get some sleep. It's okay. Or if you're at work, don't go to sleep, because we don't want you to get fired. But we do want to make sure that all of your future dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2020 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.